You just loaded up TM Talk, the one pod to learn it all. I'm Professor Tommy.
And I'm Professor Ashley. Whether you're new to the Pokémon TCG or a seasoned trainer, we're here to help you level up your play, master the rulings, and grow your community one episode at a time.
Hey, welcome back to TM Talk. Glad to see you here. Sure, we'll go with that. Hey, I am Professor Tommy. I am joined once again with my fabulous co-host, Professor Ashley. And we're here to talk everything about Pittsburgh Regionals. We're here to do a recap, let you know how each of the different games went, and let you know how we did with our predictions, see how great we are at knowing what we're talking about in Pokemon. So looking forward to talk about all that with you here and more. But before we get started, once again, hey, please, I want you to know that you can reach out to us. You can talk to us. We're friends here. We're here to help you. You can reach us on all of the socials, Instagram, X, YouTube. Find us at TM Talk Podcast. And you can email us at tmtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Reach out to us. You can even leave comments on the episodes on Spotify, on Amazon Music, on YouTube, however you consume your podcasts. So definitely feel free to reach out to us, leave us a comment, drop a like, subscribe, hopefully, and let us know how we can do better or how we can talk about what you're interested in. So before we jump into Pittsburgh and everything about the regionals, Ashley, how you been doing this week?
I have been doing pretty good for the most part. My pain has kind of gone away, and then it started coming back, and now it's starting to go away. So doing a little better with that. Hopefully that it will just go away, and then I don't have to deal with it anymore, because this is kind of annoying. Especially with the type of job I have to use my arms a lot and my muscles. So this is really putting a damper on that right now. But I got to hang out with some cool doggies all weekend. I had a pet sitting job, and they have 4 Great Danes and a little cattle dog. So it's always a full crazy house whenever I dog sit them. Super fun all the time, though. They love me, and I love them like my own little dogs. So
That's fun.
it's been
5. So
yeah.
You said 5 dogs?
Yeah, they have 5 dogs, 4 Great Danes, and then 1 little cattle dog.
Okay, so you just sharing a house with 4 people and a small dog.
Yeah, pretty much. Just imagine, even in a king size bed, they all try to jump up there and sleep. Man, it takes up the entire bed, and sometimes not even all of them get up there. The other day, all of them except for 1 dog was up there. And he was getting mad at me, and he was barking at me. And I'm like, dude, there is literally no room up here for you.
Barking in your face.
Yes, he was just barking let me up, let me up. But eventually he just settled down and laid down and took the defeat. But it was a pretty fun weekend. What about you? What did you do?
Oh, man. So this weekend, had some fun. We're rooting on some in-state competitors at Pittsburgh Regionals, watching that during our Pokemon League. So that was really exciting and fun to do. And it's always great because I feel like at League, we always have maybe a couple of new players who have never seen regionals before or didn't know there was a stream of Pokemon and how did it all work. So to explain that to a bunch of people who've never seen it before is really fun to let them understand that it's actually a big thing. And they're like, oh, whoa, it's bigger than what I thought. I thought I just came here, sat down and played some cards. I didn't know there was all this other stuff going on with it. So it's cool to let people in on the know about that. I heard, I remember last week you were talking about how much pain you're in, and I felt really bad. So what I did was I messed up my shoulder for you. I'm going to share in your pain. This is what happens, people, when you decide to get older. you get pain out of nowhere. So it sucks, but yeah, you got to do what you got to do and keep pushing forward. So I'm hoping as well that my pain goes away. I'm waiting for my chiropractor to come back from vacation so I can go see her and she can just crack me back into existence, I guess.
Crack me back into existence. It probably
Yeah.
doesn't help with like having to take care of all the chickens and whatnot on your farm either.
Yeah, I got to lift a couple heavy things, and now I have a. Oh man, she's 8 months old now. Yeah, my daughter's 8 months old who wants to be carried all the time, and especially now she doesn't fit in one arm anymore, so I have to like switch over to both arms. And so if she leans against this shoulder, like I can feel it start going out more than normal. So I'm like, okay, I need to like kind of adjust you and switch you over here, and hopefully you don't wake up. So fun times had, but yeah, definitely had a good. I mean, I had a good week. You know, we did the leagues and stuff like that. And we're working some things out there, so I think that's really cool. Yeah, but I really excited about regionals that happened this weekend.
Yes.
I thought it was a really cool regional. I actually got to sit down, watch some Pokemon Go games, watch the TCG, of course, and a lot of interesting things happened during this regionals that we'll talk about. So without any further ado, let's jump into it, right? So let's go into Pokemon Go. So Pokemon Go at Pittsburgh had a total of 181 players, which is really good. That's really awesome. And according to the casters there, this was one of the most exciting Go finals in recent memory. So if you've never watched Pokemon Go on stream during regionals, I suggest look it up on the Pokemon channel during YouTube, or if you like Twitch, you go to Twitch. Pokemon streams all of their regional streams on there as well, so check them out. Pokemon Go casters have like, I think, the number one like aura energy that there is with Pokemon Go. Like, these guys make me super excited just watching. I'm like, oh man, this is intense, you know, and they let you know and keep you up to date. So that's what they were saying. It's the most exciting finals in recent memory. And the storyline was pretty cool too, because we had two players. Neither one was from the North America region. We had Z Zweilous. He actually is from Europe, placed 13th at Frankfurt Regional, going up against LND's T. Steiner, who placed 7th in Monterrey. He's from Brazil. And they're going in and going into this finals bracket. Interesting enough, so the winners bracket, these two actually played each other in the winners bracket, where Z Zweilous actually reverse swept Steiner, which means that he won the last 3 games back to back, pushing Steiner to the loser bracket. So Steiner was now in a win or go home scenario. He won all the way up to get back to the finals, and this plays into the story later. So keep that in mind, right? That he went win or go home in the losers bracket all the way up to the finals. And what carried Steiner to the finals is actually a really, really interesting pick for his team, which is Bastiodon. Bastiodon was not anywhere in the meta whatsoever, especially before this season, because there was a 60-second swap time limit on Pokemon. So if you ever battled in Pokemon Go on PvP, on there as you're battling, you can switch out your Pokemon. You only switch it out, and then you had to wait for 60 seconds before you could switch again. Well, now they dropped that down to 45 seconds. And so that made a big difference in choosing Bastiodon, because it's a huge Pokemon that can take a lot of damage and absorb a lot of energy. And then being able to switch out in 45 seconds makes the difference, because that way you're not stuck with Bastiodon out there just getting absorbed all this damage to get knocked out, and then you can't use that energy later. You can actually switch them out, bring them back in, and then hit with those charge attacks when you want to. So funny enough, this is actually a pick his team pushed him to run, and it helped him get all the way where he was to the grand finals. So what happens in the Pokemon Go finals is that they play a best of 5 series. And of course, they have the winner of the winners bracket, the winner of the losers bracket playing each other. If the winner of the loser bracket wins the majority of the games, they do a bracket reset where they actually play another set of best of 5 game. And it's actually what happened here. So going in the first match, Zweilous opened up into the worst possible leads with Charjabug versus Bastiodon, but instead of folding on that, he made a gutsy play to bank some energy. He pivoted, and then was able to win with 1 HP left. So it was pretty crazy to watch. After that, game 2, Steiner took that one. Game 3, Steiner took it. Game 4, Zweilius came back, won that one. And then game 5 went straight into Steiner's game plan, mixing in Shadow and Annihilate. So he reset the bracket. From there, it really showed Steiner's ability to adapt. He actually did not play Bastiodon in the last 5 matches and actually won. So he was kind of faking it the whole time, and Zweilius was trying to prep for that. And actually, that's what maybe cost Zweilius the finals there. So Steiner won from Latin America, from Brazil. So the biggest takeaways from this, of course, is that Latin America is making another huge step for the region with their strong showing not only in Monterrey. One of Steiner's teammates won Monterrey, and now Steiner himself wins Pittsburgh. So that's really awesome to see that from the Latin America side. And then Bastiodon is the ultimate live by it, die by it Pokemon, right? So Steiner proved that with smart team building, and now with this 45-second switch timer, even the riskiest picks can be molded into consistent strategies. And Corviknight was a big one for Zweilius to get him where he was. So that was pretty cool to see Corviknight in there being a neutral powerhouse, and Gastrodon with his late game reveal during Zweilius's picks. Gastrodon played a big role in that finals matchup as well. So the top 12 Pokemon that we see from Pittsburgh is actually Cradily, Galarian Corsola, excuse me. This is really hard to say all these names in here, right? And Gastrodon are the top 3, followed by Shadow Marowak, Galarian Moltres, and Corviknight. So pretty cool to see that mix of Pokemon. Like we said last time, Pokemon Go is pretty cool because you get to see all these Pokemon that don't get the spotlight in some of the other games like VG or TCG, and see them get their 15 seconds of frame here. So it's pretty cool. So we crowned a new champion in Pokemon Go Pittsburgh Regionals. There's plenty more to go. Did you have any thoughts about Pokemon Go, Ashley?
I just want to say, like, since I'm not really big into like Go competitive, it's always interesting to hear about like how they do their competition, where they have like the winners bracket and then they have the losers bracket. And I did not even know that that's how they ran that if you're in the finals, if the winner of the losers bracket wins that, then it resets. I didn't realize that. So that's crazy. And that probably made for a very long finals match, huh?
Yeah, it was wild, but it does add like a sense of drama to it, right? Because I think everybody's always rooting for the underdog, and when you see that the winner of the losers bracket is coming up into the grand finals, you're like, oh man, is he going to reset the bracket? Is he going to win this? Like, he has to win the winner loser bracket has to win both brackets, right? He has to win the first game of 5 and then the reset too to be a champion. Where if you're coming from the winners bracket, you just got to win the first best of 5 and you're good.
Mm-hmm.
So it always has that sense of drama. It's pretty cool to watch. I was invested. I was like, oh man, let's go. Like, like avenge your defeat, because like they played before and Zweilius got it there, but then Steiner just coming back and adapting his gameplay to Zweilius already playing him before, gave him an edge, and just showing that he was able to adapt just that much more to ink out that win, because it was very close. But it was super cool.
Yeah, oh man, that's so cool. It's nice to hear that sometimes, like, even if you don't do so well at the beginning, you can still do well towards the end. So I think that's one thing that I do like about how they run their competition, is that even if you lose, you can still end up winning.
Yeah, 100%. So it was really cool to see. Hopefully in our next North America regionals, maybe we can have some North America team in there in the finals. But congratulations to Steiner for winning it, bringing it home for Brazil as well. I mean, awesome play to both those players as well. So Zweilius, you too, hey, congratulations. So that was pretty awesome. But hey, that's enough about Pokemon Go, right? Let's jump into the VG. Ashley, what you got for us?
All right, so kicking it off for the VGC portion, we had an eventful weekend full of players that were ready to test their skills. We had some extremely tough players battling it out in the top 8. So a lot of time and effort went into all of these battles. However, Chupacross, who also helps cast on the VGC side, so if you ever watch VG and you see him on there, just know that he does do casting sometimes. He actually came out on number 1, and he was actually able to be crowned the champion. So his team consisted of Dragonite, Incineroar, Goldengo, Basculegion, Mousehold, and Blood Moon Ursaluna. His team was able to take him to the top in the finals match, and he pulled through with a 2-0 victory. So this was actually a really cool battle to watch. Like, I watched a lot of not all of them, but I watched a good portion of the VGC matches on day 2. And let me tell you, just watching those, they always get me fired up, because the casters, they always add a whole lot of energy to it, and they're always like, oh man, it's coming down to the wire. And it's kind of a little bit different from watching TCG compared to VG or Go. So it's nice to see the personality switches between the casters as well.
For sure. And like, I don't know, like you probably realize this, but I think VG is like the most vocal as far as the crowd is.
Mm-hmm.
They are always hyped for what's going on in VG. And when they're watching it live, they are telling you, they're cheering, they're applauding, they're doing everything. If you watch the TCG streams and you hear a random like yell or applause, that's because something happened at VG. And they're just screaming over, and TCG's picking up the audio, which is hilarious because, unless there's like a awesome donk play turn 2, I don't think TCG audience is really getting up and shouting that loud. But yeah, VG is always hyped. That's why I'm always like, oh man, maybe that's like the best game to play. It's like the most fun. It seems that they're having a blast over there watching it. So I think that's pretty awesome.
It's nice to see just kind of like the different aspects of the different games too, because like in TCG, a lot of the players tend to be a little bit more reserved whenever they get like a big player, they win. But in like VG, like I watched it on stream. There was a player and he got the knockout and got the win during one of his matches, and you could just see him like throw his hands and he's like, yes. And then he was like, all right, now I got to compose myself, and just kind of breathed in and breathed out and went right back to it. But it's awesome to see that, because we don't really see a whole lot of that in the TCG. But the match itself was actually really cool. So during the first match, this was during the final moments of the match, his opponent was Matt Tidd. Matt was able to take out Chuppa's terastallized Blood Moon for the knockout, leaving Chuppa with 2 damaged Pokemon, and Matt with his lonely terastallized King Gambit. Chuppa comes back and hits the King Gambit with a knockoff from Incineroar, which was super effective, but just barely misses the KO. Mousehold comes out with a Follow Me, making the King Gambit sucker punch into it, because if you don't watch VGC, Follow Me is a move where the Pokemon uses it, and then any opposing Pokemon that attack, even if it's going for the other Pokemon, it only attacks that Pokemon. So that's what the Follow Me does. So he was able to get that, and the King Gambit sucker punched into it. However, it misses instead of landing it. So Incineroar comes back with another knockoff and gets the KO on King Gambit. So Chuppa takes the first one. The second match was just as exciting. Chuppa was able to chip into the Primarina with Flare Bits from the Incineroar, followed up with a Make It Rain from Goldengo, which resulted in a double knockout, leaving Matt with only Volcarona on the field. And mind you, at this point, Volcarona was heavily damaged, but Matt was not giving up. Volcarona was able to move first, landing a Flamethrower, taking the knockout on Goldengo. So now they were both 1-1, and both of their Pokemon were damaged. Incineroar is able to actually land the knockoff on Volcarona, taking the KO, and Chuppa becomes your 2025 Pittsburgh Regional Champion. So it was a super fun match to watch. I love watching these. Everybody gets super hype. It's just a super fun thing all around. So now that we know the results, the top 4 was obviously Chupacross in first place. Matt Tidd got second place. Daniel Yu was in third place. and in 4th place was Dylan Matthews. So the top 8 was actually really cool. A lot of the teams were kind of the same, but Chuppa's was a little bit different. There was only 2 Blood Moons in top 8, and Chuppa was one of them, but he was the only one that played the Mousehold, which is a very cool support Pokemon, and I think it really helped him having kind of like a level team to come out on top.
Yeah, that's really neat. Looking at this graphic here with all the teams on it, it's pretty cool because, like you were saying, it looks like 8th through 5th, they're pretty much almost the same team except for like off maybe 1 or 2 Pokemon. And then we go in the top 4. It looks like 4, 3 are pretty much the exact same. And the second place team is almost the same, off by a couple Pokemon again. And then if we look at Chuppa's team, it's almost completely different. I think maybe they share like 1 Pokemon or no, 2, sure about 2, but it's pretty cool. Like, hearing you talk about this, it sounds really exciting. I was like, hey, I know Goldango. I know Make It Rain. That's a pretty popular move in TCG right now. So it's cool to see that it crosses over, and Goldango is actually doing pretty decent in the VG as well. So that's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the first thing that I thought of whenever I saw the Goldango, whenever I first got into VGC, and this the regulation that they're in right now, Goldango is actually doing really well. And so I thought it was kind of funny that it's not only doing well in TCG, but also VGC.
Yeah. So, hey, it's crossover, right?
Yeah. Now we just need them to put it in Pokemon GO.
And get all 3.
It can, yeah.
Get all 3 in there. That'd be cool. Yeah. So that sounds pretty awesome. So let's start diving into TCG, right? I think TCG for this Pittsburgh Regionals probably had the most controversial finish, if we want to say that.
Very interesting to say the least.
Very interesting to say the least. Like, it was set up as we moved forward in the top 8. It was a Gardevoir dominant top 8 for sure. And then as we whittled our way down, we got to the finalists, which was, for those of you maybe who have followed TCG and competitive scene, with a familiar name that we haven't heard in a while, Liam Halliburton was actually one of the finalists going up into this game. He was playing Enzorark EX and came in undefeated at 12-0-2. So just running amok with this Enzorark EX, and probably like the best time to play it since everybody was playing Gardevoir heavy. And then we had a familiar name once again, maybe if you heard from it from the weekend previous, is Aban Ahmed, who was actually the winner in Monterey. He came to Pittsburgh with a little bit with Gardevoir, but with a little bit different. He put the Jellicent in there to help him out with the mirror matchup, right? And so automatically we're already seeing that this is an uphill battle for Aban to climb, because the Enzorark EX deck not only hits Gardevoir for weakness, it's a really tough matchup for Gardevoir to come out on top with it. But to Aban's credit, he was doing really well, kind of trying to set himself up. It was getting to where in game 1, it looked like Liam pretty much had the game almost in the bag. Like, he was setting up his bench and his board to really like just kind of dominate Aban towards the end of this game here. However, we had an interesting kind of like interaction where a judge came over and started counting Aban's deck, and kind of like counting his cards. They did a pause to do that, and come to find out, Aban was playing with only 59 cards in the final match. So in the TCG, you have to have 60 cards in your deck, no more, no less, to have a valid deck to play in a match. So how did that happen? How do you only have 59 cards? How did nobody ever figure it out? So luckily, we actually streamed Aban's top 4 match as well. A great matchup in the mirror with Calvin Connor, another well-known player in the TCG community. They played out the mirror matchup, and Aban won his match against Calvin to get into the finals. When he won that final game, maybe as you were talking about earlier, Ashley, we don't see a lot of emotion from the TCG players, and maybe this is why, because Aban was very emotional about winning that matchup. He threw his headset down on top of his cards once he did the final win. Was really excited about that. Did a little flex and a little celebration there. But in throwing down his headset on top of his cards, he actually shot over a monkey dory to Calvin Connor's side, and Calvin's cleaning up, picks up all the cards that are on his side of the table. He's of course, he's not happy about not getting in the finals, but like you're just worried about cleaning up and getting out of the way and going on with his merry little way in the rest of the day. However, I would assume Calvin, as he's lining out his deck to take his deck picture for X and to show everybody what he did to report on his tournament, he probably figured out, wait a minute, this monkey dory is different than mine because it's in a different sleeve, and he does the right thing, gives it over to a Pokemon professor and says, hey, this is an extra card, it's not mine, I believe it's a bond. They go ahead into the investigation process of, okay, is a bond playing with 60 cards? Where did this monkey dory come from? Yada, yada, yada. And they do find out that a bond is missing that monkey dory. So they go to give a bond the game loss. So if you're playing with an illegal deck, it is a game loss, and then they try to correct that loss, right? So it's not a match loss. You can still play your last two rounds or last two games if you're playing best of 3. But a bond decided, hey, you know what? I'm just going to concede the game. I'm going to concede the match over to Liam, and Liam, off the concede, is your Pittsburgh TCG champion. So interesting final match to TCG. We didn't get to see 3 games. We didn't go back and forth, but interesting none the least, right? To say what happened there. Any thoughts on that one, Ashley?
And the crazy thing was, like, I was actually watching the finals match, and whenever they came over, I was like, what's happening? And, like, I was so confused. So I'm sure all the viewers were confused at first whenever they realized what was happening. And then you could kind of hear him in the background after they realized that Abon was actually playing with the 59 card deck. He even pulls out his notepad with his prizes whenever he prize checked. He said, you can barely hear it, but you can still hear him say, I even wrote it down that I was missing that I prized a monkey dory.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Like, he knew that it was not there, but he didn't realize that it was not actually in his deck at the time.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say that, because I was watching the finals as well. And one thing I like to do is that we're kind of behind what's going on with the judges, right? If they do a judge review, if the judges stop play, we don't really know what's going on. The casters kind of take a guess. So I like to do that. I like to rewind and kind of see, was there a misplay? Was there something that happened? And I didn't wait to see what was going on. So I actually rewound it. I was watching the game and I was like, okay, nothing crazy here. I don't know what's played. Everything is fine. All this stuff is legal. And then they come over. Okay, let me rewind a little bit further, maybe. Okay. So I'm watching the whole game, probably another 2 times. I'm like, I don't see anything that's going on here. And so I finally catch back up to live, and they're like, oh yeah, he's missing a card. That's why they're counting his deck. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's why. Good for me that I could see that they're playing okay. But yeah, I mean, it's you hate to see that happen, right? Because it's just off of an accident, right? And to see that happen, I saw a lot of messages on X and social media, going both ways, like, oh, Calvin did it on purpose. Oh, this. I'm like, there's no way that I don't know Calvin personally, but seeing him and what he's put out there in the Pokemon community, I can't believe that he would have done that on purpose. Looking at it on the video, it looks like totally by accident as well. And he did the right thing, right? He's like, hey, this is a card that's missing, and let me give that over to the judges to keep the integrity of the tournament, which is exactly what should have been done. It wasn't a bond, and people can say, oh, it's a Bond's fault. He shouldn't have, thrown his stuff on his cards and things like that. Hey, it's easy for us to say that in hindsight. However, when you're in there, in the moment, in the game, you just won a regional last week, and now you're at the cusp of winning another one and going back to back, which is very, very rare to do. I could totally understand the emotions getting the best of him, being excited, being exhausted, and it's being celebrating his victory, right? I mean, hey, throwing the headset, maybe not the best thing to do on top of your cards. But I cannot blame him for being excited and being caught up in the moment of that. So just a complete freak accident that happened. It sucks for Aban. I'm sorry that it happened to him, but he played really well. And, who knows what would have happened if they played all 3 games. It was going to be a very difficult matchup for him. And so I was interested to watch to see how he kind of piloted around and Zoroark. But congratulations to Liam anyway. Liam, a remarkable player in his own right, just came up from the seniors division not too long ago, a couple years ago. He won his first regional in the Masters division in Orlando in 2024, and then he's done a lot of like day 2 finishes and things like that. But really, this Pittsburgh win is another one under his belt, and probably is showing a very strong showing for him coming this season. So really excited to see what else we get from Liam as we move forward into the mega format. So let's talk a little bit about the let's talk about the meta for Pittsburgh Regional, especially in TCG. So in Pittsburgh, we had 2,690 players there, and believe it or not, the top deck was Dragapult Dusknoir, and this is according to PokeHive. At 14% was Dragapult Dusknoir, followed by Goldango, then Gardevoir at third with just under 12%. And then we had Raging Bolt, and then the slew of other meta decks that are out there as well, spaced out. And then as we jumped into day 2, we cut down to 488 players. And once again, Dragapult Dusknoir was on top of the meta chain at 14%. Once again, Gardevoir moved its way up to number 2 with just under 11%. And then behind Gardevoir was Raging Bolt at 10.5%. And then we had Goldango, and then we had Joltik with Goldango, and then everybody else after that. So pretty wide meta there. You could tell that there were people who were trying to either switch to Gardevoir or also try to tech for Gardevoir, right? And I think the best example is Liam's deck itself with Zoroark, right? I don't think a lot of people were giving Zoroark the credit it deserves. It's a great deck, but I think the meta how that shook out where Gardevoir was so high into the percentages in the meta that it was a perfect time to play Zoroark on that. What are your thoughts on the meta shakedown, Ashley?
Just to kind of like go back on some things that we said in our last episode, we did say that we thought that Gardevoir was going to be big, and so we thought that we were going to see an uptick in Grimmsnarl and Charizard, but we did not, and there was actually the Zoroark who took the whole championship, which was awesome because that wasn't even something that we even said. So it just goes to show you that sometimes, like, you can look at the meta, you can try and predict, but you're not always going to be 100% on what's going to be up there and what's going to do good.
Yeah, for sure. Great point on that one, Ashley. As we look at the top 15, definitely how we talked about the meta shakedown is kind of like what we see here with this. I don't know if he's the sole Zoroark out there, but he at least did not make the graphic for PokeHive, but he is sitting on top. Zoroark is followed by a quadruplet of Gardevoir, 3 of them with Jellicent, 1 pure Gardevoir, which is pretty interesting because it's the first time we get to see Jellicent kind of in the tournament scene. Try to see how it is. And it looks like a lot of Gardevoirs teched it in for the mirror match. So once again, they were kind of prepping for a higher Gardevoir count. Came with Jellicent to kind of combat that. Then we have Goldango, Dragapult Dusknoir back-to-back in 7th and 8th place. A couple Terra boxes to finish out the top cut of the top 10. So that's pretty cool to see. Once again, another Terra box, kind of a couple more decks of those coming out and showing that they're persistent in this meta. And then some more of the same. We do have a Grimmsnarl in there at 12th place. So somebody was able to pilot Grimmsnarl and get themselves pretty high up there. And then we close it out with actually 2 names that you guys might be familiar with if you listen to our Worlds recap, which is Riley McKay at 14th place, our 2025 Worlds champion, playing lo and behold, Gardevoir. Coming in at 14th, good for him. And right behind him is maybe his nemesis, maybe his frenemy, Justin Newdorf, also the finalist from our 2025 Worlds Championship, playing, surprise, surprise, Dragapult Dusknoir. So, I don't blame these guys, right? Why change? Why change something if it's not broken? They played the exact same decks in the World Championship format, which is this format. Went to Pittsburgh with it, and they did pretty well for themselves at 14th and 15th place. Anything from the top 15 or anything from the tournament all that stuck out in your mind, Ashley?
No, but just to kind of like branch off of what you said, I mean, if you're doing well with a deck and it's still really well going into a meta, why change your deck? Like if you like a deck and you are performing well with it, it's probably best to just stick with it, because then you learn all of the ins and outs and all of your lines of play, and you get to know that deck a lot better than if you're just like constantly switching decks. And there are some people that can switch decks like that, but I mean, just Riley and Justin are showing us like sometimes just sticking with one deck you can still do consistently well with, which is awesome.
100%. And it does help that those decks are the top 2 in the meta right now. So, yeah. So congratulations to everybody who placed at Pittsburgh Regionals. Good job there. Congratulations to Liam for being our 2025 Pittsburgh Regional Champion and stamping his ticket to the 2026 World Championship. So congratulations to everybody who competed out there in Pittsburgh. So moving on, right? We did our recap of the Pittsburgh Regionals. So let's see how we did in our predictions for Pittsburgh. If you all were following along or listened last week, me and Ashley gave our predictions of what we thought we were going to see in all 3 games. And so I'm gonna kick it off to Ashley. How did we do?
All right. So if you missed last week's episode, or if this is the first time that you're actually listening to us, welcome. But these were our predictions. So for the TCG side, Tommy chose, I guess I should probably back up so they know. We picked a player, a card, and a deck that we thought would do well. There was nothing other than those. So for the TCG portion, Tommy had chosen Raoul Reddy. His card that he chose was Monkey Dory, and his deck was Raging Bolt. So Tommy did fairly well. His prediction was Raoul Reddy, who placed 3rd, playing Gardevoir Jellicent, which also included 3 Monkey Dories.
Yeah, go Raoul.
So there was a lot of Monkey Dories. Now, Tommy didn't think that I was actually going to count every single one of these, but I sat down and I counted all of these cards to make sure that we had the correct count. So if you're listening, before I actually say it, you should guess how many Monkey Dories and Ultra Balls that we had. So 3, 2, 1. For the Monkey Dories, in the top 32 decks, there was a total of 64 played.
That's wild.
So yeah, that's like an average of like 2 per deck. 2 per deck. Yeah. So for the his Raging Bolt deck, unfortunately it didn't do super well, but it did place in the 18th place, which was the highest placing of Raging Bolt. So that was ran by Rupert. So congratulations to you. There was only one other Raging Bolt in the top 32. So out of the top 32, there was only 2 Raging Bolt. So unfortunately, Tommy didn't do as well there, but his other 2 predictions did very well. And some of our players from our state actually attended Pittsburgh, and one of our in-state players did fairly well with the Raging Bolt deck. Alyssa Gilman placed 287th with Raging Bolt. So she did very well this weekend with it.
Congrats, Alyssa. Way to represent Oklahoma and going out there and doing so well with Raging Bolt. Hey, I did go, outside, I went outside of the predictions of like everybody saying Dragapult and Gardevoir. I decided, hey, I'm gonna go and go with Raging Bolt, this long neck dragon, and see what it could do there. Alyssa been playing Raging Bolt for a while now. Went out there, did really well. So congratulations to her. And also, I will shout out now. We had another local player that we know very well, Reese Becker, went out there to Pittsburgh and was climbing up the ranks. The ladder. He won. He was 4-0, and we were rooting him on here back at home because none of us could go to Pittsburgh. But sadly, he was just short of making day 2. But congratulations to him and how well he did there. I think hopefully getting the monkey off his back about previous regionals performances and proving that, hey, if you put the time and effort in, he could definitely see the results he wants to see. So congratulations to those players. But yeah, so Ashley, how did you do in your TCG predictions?
All right. So for my predictions, my player, I chose Henry Chow because he was a amazing Gardevoir player. For the card, I chose an Ultra Ball because, like Tommy said with his Monkey Dory, I can't go wrong. And that was my same thought with the Ultra Ball. And then for my deck, because I've been a big Gardevoir player and it's been dominating most of the regionals and all the big events lately, I chose Gardevoir. So Henry Chow actually placed 27th, and he actually played Gardevoir Jellicent. So he didn't do as well as Raul, but he was still in the top 32. Now for the Ultra Balls. This is your time to guess, guys. You got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, there was a total of 101 Ultra Balls in the top 32 decks. That was a lot of Ultra Balls to count.
Yeah, I could imagine. That's probably like what, an average of 3 per deck? 3 point something? Yeah. That's wild. Yeah.
So it was literally like whenever I was going back over the data, almost every single deck in the top 32 played Ultra Balls. There was just like 2 or 3 of them that did not.
Doesn't surprise me.
It was crazy.
It's a great card.
Yeah.
It's a great card.
Yeah.
It's a staple for a lot of decks.
So now for my deck choice, the Gardevoir deck was a huge contender to win as it made it to the finals for the Masters Division. However, due to Obama playing with a 59 card deck, Gardevoir was unsuccessful at taking the win this past weekend. But he still placed second, so it was still pretty up there. So, how do you think we did? Who do you think won? You think we tied, or you think?
Great. You know what?
Should we leave it to the listeners to guess?
We'll leave it to the listeners.
Or to take
you guys heard the data. Yeah. Let us know what you think. Who you think won in our predictions? Was it me? Was it Ashley? Let us know on our socials at TM Talk Podcast, or reach us at email at tmtalkpodcast@gmail.com. I mean, I did pick 3rd place, right? And hey, Monkey Dory, can't go wrong. 2 per deck on average in the top 32. I mean, come on. I don't know. But hey, we can make a case for everybody, right? But so let's move on to
very friendly competition.
That's right. So let's see. Let's go to our VG predictions, right? So I chose Rillaboom was going to be a Pokemon in the finals of Pittsburgh, and Ashley picked Blood Moon Ursaluna. If you're paying attention, I think Ashley already gave this away, but highest placing team with Rillaboom was 5th place. So good job, you drummy monkey. You.
Justin Tang.
That's right.
Congrats to Justin Tang.
Congrats, my friend. And then Blood Moon Ursaluna though took 1st place. So I think there's no way I could argue my way into a tie on this one. Ashley won our VG prediction, so congratulations, Ashley, on that one. But now,
thank you. Blood Moon Ursaluna is a tank.
Yes,
is a fantastic Pokemon
for sure, and it proved its worth here in Pittsburgh today or this weekend. So let's go into Pokemon Go, right? So I chose Galarian Corsola, Cradily, and Shadow Sizor, where Ashley picked Galarian Corsola, Cradily, and Shadow Marowak. So the highest placing team with Galarian Corsola was 1st place. And of course, if you picked Galarian Corsola, more than likely you picked Cradily as well. So Cradily was also in the 1st place team. And so Shadow Sizor and Shadow Marowak kind of have to like break this tie for us, right? So Shadow Sizor came in 5th place on that team, and Shadow Marowak came in at 3rd place into the Pokemon Go finals. So with that being said, I believe that Ashley just squeaked out a victory on her predictions
just
on
barely,
Pokemon
just
Go.
barely.
So congratulations on that one, Ashley. Good job.
Thank you.
Using your Nostradamus skills and seeing into the future. So next time I pick lottery tickets, I'm going to ask you what numbers I should pick. So.
I cannot guarantee any wins for that.
But yeah, hey,
that was super fun though. I feel like if we do this again for another regional, we should definitely do this. And if you're listening here at home, tell us what we should predict. Maybe we should predict something completely different that we didn't. We just kind of went off what the casters on the Pokemon channel do. So that's kind of what we did. I had fun with it. I don't know about you, but I think we should do this again for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I had a blast. If you have any ideas for rule sets that we can implement so that way Ashley doesn't win all of it, let me know. So we can go ahead and put those into the rules of this as well. But reach out to us, on the socials, on our email, tmtalkpodcast@gmail.com, and let us know what you guys predict for the next regionals or coming up, or how you think we did. Or did you think something else was going to do really well at regionals that did, or maybe did not, and that surprised you? We'd like to hear you guys' feedback and what you guys thought about this exciting Pittsburgh Regional that happened this past weekend. So I think that's pretty much all we had to talk about today with Pittsburgh. Ashley, you have anything else?
Congratulations to all the players that attended Pittsburgh, whether you did as well as you had hoped or not as well. There's always next time. Just keep on practicing and keep going.
That's exactly right. As you continue your Pokemon journey, whether it's in any of those games that we talked about, Pokemon Go, VG, TCG, or Unite, if you want to do well, if you want to compete, put in the time and effort, and you'll see that effort you put in pay off in fruition. If you guys are looking for tips, we do have a how to be a competitive player episode out there. So definitely listen to what we thought comes into mind as you kind of prepare for that. And look for our future episodes here that we're going to be releasing here pretty soon. So super excited about those and coming up with different topics. If you guys want us to talk about anything specific, once again, reach out to us. Let us know. Leave those comments. Drop those likes. Drop those subscribes. And let us know how we can help you out and kind of going along in your journey, and how we can help you become the very best like no one ever was. So with that being said, thank you so much for listening once again to another fabulous episode of TM Talk. I'm looking forward to talking to you next time.
Yep. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye. You just used TM Talk. I hope it was super effective for you. Whether you're building a deck or building a league, remember, you've got this and we've got your back.
If today's episode boosted your stats, share it with your party. And until next time, keep training, keep teaching, and keep passing that knowledge on.